So, you know, at when you're level 5 Spectre, you pretty much have all the viable guns at your disposal, right? So, you kind of have the the pick of the litter when it comes to any gun you want. I mean, typically level 5 guns are the most powerful for obvious reasons, but when you say the most powerful guns, one of the things that I don't typically think about would be the AS Val or the VSS Venturis, which whatever one this is. I think this is the AS Val. So the thing about the AS Val is that I think it's kind of like a cheaper middle ground option than as opposed to the say and an AK uh alpha or something like that, mainly because it's not really like it's bad. It does hit quite hard, and it definitely requires uh less investment, just mainly because of the fact that the gun does come with its own suppressor, so you don't technically need to buy one. But at that point, you're kind of already in Spec 5, so you should probably have enough money to buy a suppressor anyways. But yeah, I think I've talked too long. I will see you guys in raid. Oh, well, let there be light, I suppose. So, I don't know how far 9x39 can go in general, considering it's. I wouldn't assume that it's a very, you know. Hmm. This dumbass forgot to take it off safe. All right. Leave this a single fire. I don't really know if this cartridge has any what's it called? Has any long range capabilities, because 9x39 is a subsonic round. I guess that would technically be the advantage, wouldn't it? Is that 9x39 in theory is inherently a subsonic cartridge, so that would mean that your shots are going to be quite quiet with this thing, and I mean, coupled with the fact that it's integrally suppressed, it's the most dangerous game. But in practice, it's probably just like any other weapon. I mean, uh, Spectre 5 just has so many good weapons that it can't help but be outclassed. Cause well, you could buy this, you know. Technically, VSS 30 rounders are can be found if you can be found quite commonly if you just so happen to be in mall. AS Vals are also a thing, or a VSS Venturis is a cheaper version of this, but this thing has more rails as opposed to the VSS. So really, the only difference between AS Val and VSS is mainly the rails. You can still put a still put you still can put an AK rail on here that will help you with the whole. So it seems. Hold on. Seems like. Nah, it's a placebo. The bullets don't fly slower. It's just a placebo. I mean, the only thing that I can really compare it to is like Into the Radius, where like where the round is so inherently subsonic. Well, okay, it has a better use case in in that game, because in that game you kind of you have to repair your suppressor. So so an integrally suppressed weapon would help greatly with reducing the amount of money that you would have to spend with with using money to buy or fix suppressors, which is an interesting thought. Okay, so at base the AS val is 20,000
Hej ty,
karunas,
k zemi!
and and you have to pay and you have to pay 50,000
Tě zabiju, parchante!
for a for a bare bones alpha. So already, just right out the gate, it's already like 20,000 cheaper, or 30,000 cheaper. Sorry, but since I don't have the damage values, I can't really speak too in depth about it. Of course, it's just how it is that unfortunately, due to the fact that it is in this game, you kind of just one time buy suppressors, and assuming that you can definitely find more while you're in raid, the AS valve does kind of fall off. Magazine size is also definitely something that you have to consider, because uh it's only you can only have 30 rounders max, and I mean, I'm barely in, and as you can see, I've already run through magazine, right? So that Dawn, it definitely has a use. It's just that it's kind of been outshined, especially now that, like, thinking about it, the honey badger, right? I don't know about fire rate in relation to this gun, but the honey badger is mainly good because the round sucks, but its rate of fire more than makes up for it. I'm gonna have to do what I did in the I'm technically 100% health already. Okay. I believe at that point I had 6B 43 ammo anyway, so this is technically about the same. Ooh. Oh, that hits hard. What the hell? That is that's a very significant, but I'm also theorizing that there is a chance that I may have gotten a critical hit, so I need to hit myself again. Yeah, okay, that was a critical hit. 9% damage, so technically it is on par with the... Technically, in terms of damage, from what I remember, the honey badger, which we actually have right here, just... it's also about 9 damage. That was 9. It was like 91. Now I'm at 82. So yep, it's about there. But if you think about it, you can technically unlock, I believe, both guns at, or is the honey badger only at level 4? It's either level 3 or level 4, and you can only buy 20 rounders until. So it kind of rivals the direct competition would be the honey badger. But The thing about the honey badger is that the honey badger uh, has the advantage of being small. You may not think that that's a really huge issue, but it means that technically you can use the honey badger on more maps than the AS Val. I mean, efficiently, anyways. Like I said in the honey badger video, the honey badger's strength outside of its high rate of fire lies in the fact that it it is that it's a very small gun. So so um so it's basically an assault rifle with CQB capabilities, which basically just turns it into an SMG if you think hard about it. But I mean but I mean, the honey badger does is integrally suppressed, which is something that uh none of the SMGs have, so it does have that leg up. We need to check. Give me a moment. I need to Google. I need to Google the honey badger. Excuse me. I'm trying to Google the honey badger. So the honey badger, according to the wiki, costs the same price as the VSS or the AS Val, but the AS Val is only unlockable at trader level 5. But you also gotta consider that neither of these magazines, I believe, are unlockable until Spectre 5. It's kind of, and at that point, you kind of have the AK Alpha to buy already, so it's not really much incentive to use the AS Val, so to speak. But I mean, Tabor is a game where half the time I can't speak for PvP, but like I can make this gun work in PvE if I wanted to. So I mean, definitely the meta guns matter in PvP, but the thing about it is that you can also make the case that almost every single gun works if you're just smart enough. I definitely I would say it's probably very, very realistic that you could probably end up killing someone with a Luddy if they have either terrible armor, or you have AP Luddy, because the Luddy just has such a high rate of fire that you can burst them down faster than they can. But I mean, those are like the knots. Those are the meme strats, right? Because at that point, if you are serious about wanting to actually kill people in PvP, you would just bring a genuinely good gun. I've always I know I don't technically have any. I know I technically do not have any technical say in talking about PvP, but I mean, at least some of these skills can transfer over if you think long and hard about it enough. The fact of the matter is that it's not always the case that the gun matters. It's also the the positioning, and sometimes like your shots don't register. But the gun does help quite a lot. It is very, very, very realistic to imagine that if you pit an FN FAL against against a Beretta M90, of course the FN FAL is probably more likely to win because the because 7.62 by 51 is just that good of a bullet, as we've long established. Still no Mahina, huh? Damn, I've been trying to get this Mahina for a very long time with like little to no success. It's actually quite disappointing that I've been trying to find it for so long and been not getting it. So so I guess if you like the aesthetics of it, this gun is great, but by no means, unfortunately, is it like a very good gun or meta defining, at least from what I can tell. It does fine enough. Its rate of fire is also really fast. Honestly, it might be faster than the done. I can't tell the difference. Back to the Tabor wiki, baby. Yeah, no, I just find it very hard to see the technical differences between the two, except outside of aesthetics. And ballistics, the ballistics we can only base it off of like old ballistics. So like this thing doesn't even have have a does it what was I gonna say? It doesn't really have I don't see any visible difference. Also, this thing allegedly says integrally suppressed rifles appear to be affected by suppressor velocity modifiers. This means currently they're doing significantly more damage than listed values. What? Interesting. So the AS Vel does, apparently, according to the ballistics, 48.6 in FMJ and 51.8 in AP. Oh, 48.6 or 46.8. 48.6. I don't have 300 blackout. I don't think I have 300 blackout on the list because they don't specifically. Well, gun wasn't really implemented beforehand, so. But all that to say is that if we assume that this information is accurate, which it is not, obviously, you would typically take about three body shots to take down anyone, and 2 body shots if you, well, have AP and, but I mean, ballistics are probably not accurate anymore, so, because it hasn't really been updated since the dawn of man. But I mean, honestly, I don't think it's a bad gun. Now, no gun in Spectre 5 is considered bad. Let's just be real here. Like, even the most clunkiest gun like the Barrett just has the has the ability to completely delete someone's torso as as unwieldy as that gun is, you know. So so actually I would honestly say that no gun is truly bad in the game. I mean shit, I could make an Agram work if my enemy was like half asleep, I guess, and came off of like smoking a fat one. Uh all's that to say that all's that to say that that to me spec 5 guns are really mostly just about what you want to use, but uh if you want to make an unfair direct comparison to like the differences between as to why to not use the AS Val as compared to the other um spec 5 weapons, is it's mainly that it's maxed out at 30 rounders. You know, at at Spectre 5 you could basically just buy an AK Alpha, or better yet, you could just buy a regular AKM, and then you can buy the AK drum mags, which is a very real strategy to have. Although I'm not sure why you wouldn't buy the AK Alpha now that you have unlocked it. It's basically one of the best weapons in the game, bar maybe like guns that you can't even buy, or like 30-06, or like the BAR, but even then that has its own specific disadvantages. Oh my god. I've been talking for so long. Okay, okay. Okay. But at the end of the day, would I use this if I had to like do a specific quest? Probably not. I would I would probably use like the AK Alpha because of the AK, the drum mag, or if I want just the biggest bullet, the best gun in the game, just pick the FN FAL. Wanna have a little callback to my military days. I pick the MDR. If I wanna just have a plain old rifle, the HK416. And if I don't want to pay for a if I don't want to pay for a suppressor, I'll pick the honey badger. uh, all right. Well, I'll see you guys at the outro. Alright, and that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Honestly, I know I was dogpiling on the gun the entire raid, but it's a serviceable gun. Like I said, just doesn't really have its use case since well, you can't make it so that every gun has a drum mag, right? Well, I guess technically M1A SAS also has a drum mag. But in any case, I hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.